And here we are, live and in color, here on Pressbox Sports. I am your host, Big Wheels Bo Carver, along with my partner in crime out on the East Coast, Matt Cather. How's it going, my brother?
My brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing real good.
It's
We're
good to
up and
see you.
running here. Yes, always great to see you. We're up and running here on the Pressbox Sports, and we are on
I got
the
a little
Pressbox.
cafe going, a little bit of coffee going. Do you ever drink coffee? A little
Only,
cafe in the
uh,
evening?
no,
You
I
don't.
can't do it.
You only do it in the morning? You're not a coffee drinker in general, I feel like.
No, I can't do it other than in the morning because it's just too much for me. I mean, I
I'm
have
one of
to.
those weirdos that can drink. I like a little warm drink at night, you know what I mean?
Right, I got you. So
So,
but it doesn't affect you.
no, it doesn't. I'm a weirdo. Yeah, so like I could pump the caffeine in me and still get a night's sleep, no problem.
Well, not me. I'd be up all night. I'd be calling you.
That's not a
Do you
bad
have a
call
light
though.
off in your? You have your light off in your room or something? You look a little
Oh,
dark.
hold on, let me put this
Yeah,
one
go
on real
ahead.
quick.
Go ahead. I'll let everybody know what the Matt Cather's got to light himself up a little bit better. And we are here on these Tuesday nights now, is where we're going to be
That changed it,
broadcasting.
right?
Yes.
When you're in the
And
apartment, you got like four. I got literally four different things lined up, so I'm in a spot where it has different things in general.
with the
But
lighting you just did made a big difference. And we are
usually I put
just,
that on.
yeah, I know you do. That's why I brought it up. But just to give you a little information here, what we've done here, we have added a super duper opportunity for this Pressbox Sports. We are broadcasting on Pressbox Sports Facebook page. Of course, it's being shared to my personal page, Bo Carver, and to the Shifting Gears. And I hope each and every one of you will tune in or share one of the pages to your partners in crime and friends out there. But a big bonus tonight, beginning tonight, we are also going to be on YouTube, Press Box Sports on YouTube. So we'll be live broadcasting there as well as on these Facebook pages. So we're growing. There it is, right there, baby, the big head. But we want to thank everybody for being a part of what we're trying to do here. We just get on and have fun talking sports, and we'll talk about a lot of different things. But it's built around the sports concept. And sorry, Kurt couldn't be with us tonight. That's our other compadre, Kurt Chase, who's been in radio for over 20 years and has the Automotive Edge radio show on Saturday mornings on the Automotive Edge Facebook page, as well as on 1190 AM KFXR from 8 to 10 every Saturday morning. And then we flip stations from 10 to noon to 97.1 FM The Freak. And we broadcast the entire time on Facebook, on the Automotive Edge Facebook page. So I hope you'll join us on Saturday mornings with that. And now that we've added YouTube, you can share the word that people that are not on Facebook to go to Pressbox Sports on YouTube, and you'll see a big old cock of the walk in front of the Texas state map. And that's in honor of our Matt Cather, who is a Gamecock. So we have that. That's what you'll see if you go to Pressbox Sports and you look at that and see that big old fancy rooster trimming his nails in front of the state of Texas. You click on that and you'll see our shows. So we're rocking there. And Matt, you got something you wanted to bring up, didn't you?
Yeah,
Before we get started with any other stuff.
yeah, honestly, we are very cheery on this. I guess you could say we are very upbeat on this show always, and we are always uh, for the most part, like you mentioned, Bo, it's a sports show, but every now and then I want to dig into the reality of the world, the reality of the situation, and the world that we're living in. And I don't get caught up in too much celebrity stuff or whatever, but today was a wild day in my opinion. And in regards to, I woke up and the first thing I saw, the first notification on my phone was a sad notification where we legit lost a American legend,
Icon.
American patriot, more important.
Yep.
Toby Keith passed away, and I wanted to make sure we brought that up on the show. And I know we're very, you know, apart. You know, we're very cheery on the show. Like I said, we don't like to get down. We try to enjoy the best of this sports world, and then more importantly, the United States. But if I came on today and didn't mention Toby Keith, I would have kicked myself in the you know what's. More importantly, because the guy that's been in the military and the guy that's been supporting the
Well,
military for
he was never in the military. I want to
no
correct
no
that.
no
But
I
he was
said no,
he's
Bo, you didn't hear me
oh
right. I said
you being in the
from a
military,
guy
yes.
that's been in the military,
Yeah, I got
that
you.
from a to a guy that supports the military more
Oh,
than
100%.
probably more
Yep.
than any other music icon, music star, whatever you want to call him.
Entertainer, right?
Yeah. I mean, Toby Keith has been doing USO tours for years. He's been, I mean, made songs up, American Soldier, Red, White. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want, I don't need to go down this whole
A
thing,
boot
but
in your ass.
it's
That
the
song.
American way.
Yeah. And that's
but
and that's the
but
whole thing.
yeah, but
He's definitely
we
that.
we should be proud of this country, like he's always said. Don't ever, in the wise words of Toby Keith, don't ever be, don't ever look down. Don't ever be ashamed of your uh, patriotism of this country. That's all I got to say. And I'm not
Well,
trying to get, I feel like that's not political at all. I mean, let's just be real. From a military person to the Bo, I woke up and the first
I know I do
notification
too.
and I assume it was the same. I feel like it happened overnight in that case. I woke up and the first freaking thing I saw on my phone was a notification that Toby Keith passed, and I was like, "Jeez!" And I knew he was in trouble. I knew that the cancer he'd already beat it once, and I knew it was catching up, and I knew it was bad. But
See, I
by
didn't know
God,
that. And I have a really good friend, very close friend that I played music with that knows Toby very well. In fact, opened in his concerts on several occasions. I mean, across the country.
was that Clint? Yeah, I would say
Clint
Clint.
Moody,
Probably. Yeah.
and I sent him a text going like, "Man, I can't believe what I just saw." I said, "I thought he was getting better." And he said, he sent a text back to me. He said, "Yeah, I thought so too." And then a close friend of both of ours, Bob Flatt, he was very, very close to Toby Keith. And, it's one of those things where you just kind of take him by surprise when I
Well,
thought he was I know he wasn't looking good, but I never got any kind of information that he was,
I'm not.
moving in that direction.
I'm not gonna be that guy, but I'm gonna be honest with you. From the rumblings I was hearing, it was always not good, and it kind of reminds me of Norm Macdonald, where Norm the comedian, Norm Macdonald, legend, of
Right.
course. Norm never told anybody. Norm, and he kept it from his family. And honestly, I think is I understand the situation, and you understand the situation more than me. They kept it from the family, or the family only knew the situation with regards
Yeah. They
to
kept it from the
yeah,
fans
and
mainly.
like there was where he didn't want it to be public, where he was in bad shape, and it honestly leaked out a little bit. I heard it a couple months ago, about 5 or 6 months ago, where they were like, "Yo, Toby is in bad shape," and that tells me a lot more from you, because I know you know a lot of people closer to that industry, where they were saying, "Oh, it sounded like it was good," and I was hearing leak from a couple people I know where, "Oh no, it's where he's really struggling. He's just trying to keep it low key." And I don't want to get down on the show right off the bat, but I would be nothing to come on here and not and not give a disservice. Yeah, I'd be given a disservice to not saying something to Toby Keith just because being a military guy and just in general, all American, phenomenal dude. And you know what sucks, Bo? And we lost Carl Weathers a couple days ago, and Carl Weathers,
Yeah.
I don't know if people don't know him, is Apollo Creed and Rocky. And my
Mhm.
favorite, and more importantly, this is where it really hit me. Waking up to the Toby Keith news is because Carl Weathers is my favorite movie of all time for
Yeah.
freaking Happy Gilmore. He's Chubbs and Happy Gilmore.
Right.
And if anybody ever asks me, what is your, and I think I've said it with you before, and I think I even said it on the show, what movie have you watched more than anything? For me, over everything, I've watched Happy Gilmore probably 50 times easily. I mean, it's my
Yeah.
favorite movie. It's my favorite movie. And with with Chubbs, Carl Weathers, which is and it relates to sports because the guy was a
Right.
linebacker in college. He actually made the pros to a certain degree, and then he went in the movie business. So
Well,
I hate to say this. Hey, I ended with this, dude, and let's get into some brighter shit. But
we're not going to end it. We're not going to end that because I've got stuff I want to say. I came prepared, and we don't really like to get into statistics on this broadcast with sports and stuff. We like to just kind of talk about how we feel about certain things, and we get off into tangents
all right,
about
well,
things.
let me hold it on this though. Hold on this
Okay.
though, and I'll kick it to you. I'll put it this way: in the end, what a phenomenal fucking what a phenomenal dude. And sorry, it gets caught up in this situation. What a phenomenal dude that was a part of Rocky, which all of ours growing up. And what a movie series, and being a boxing fan that I am,
Right.
pretty cool. And I'll kick it over to you. But man, it's been a couple of interesting days in the world of celebrity, I
Yeah.
guess you could say. But and it ties into sports, especially with Carl Weathers.
Well, it ties into sports too with Toby Keith because he was a semi-pro football player for the Oklahoma City Drillers back in the '80s, and he was a huge football fan. Just an out. He was an Oklahoma Sooners fan. Went to probably every game that they ever had,
Hey,
from what
you
I've noticed.
and you know what I was about to do to you, send to you earlier, and what I sended my dad and my sister because we're all Cowboys fans. I sent the video of Toby Keith doing the Monday Night Football video of him doing. Do you remember that the Monday
Uh,
Night? I'm gonna
no, I
send
don't
it.
remember that. Okay, send it
I'm
to me.
gonna send. Do you got your phone? You're locked on your phone right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm locked on the phone, but send it to me later. Okay,
Yeah,
after we get done.
you gotta. It's they were. You know how they did Hank Williams and everything, but
Oh yeah, the startup
with
of it.
Toby Keith did a old school version of that when they were still at
Ah,
Irving Stadium,
all right.
and where
Wow.
he was talking about Emmett, he was talking about Stepnoski, he was talking about Troy and freaking
He was a big Cowboy fan. There's no doubt.
yeah, and it plays. You know what it plays off of? Wanna be a It was wanna be a cowboy, and he
Well,
plays off
that
that.
was
So
it's
go
called
ahead.
"Should Have Been a Cowboy," and it was
Yeah,
his first number
sorry.
one hit. But just I want to get into that. He
Well,
passed
he
away.
wanted to
Yes,
be a cowboy. He shouldn't have been a cowboy. He wanted to be a cowboy.
he passed away yesterday at 62 years old, and just a couple little things about him. And we're sorry we're kind of not talking sports for a second, but this is how we
No,
roll.
this is worthy.
So
This is
I hope
worthy.
that you understand that we say what we want
Yeah.
when we want, truly. So Toby released 19 studio albums, 2 Christmas albums, and 5 compilation albums. Worldwide sales of over 40 million albums. He charted 61 singles, including 20 number one hits and 22 additional top 10 hits. He had 2 real long number one hits that went both 6 weeks. One was "Beer for My Horses" with Willie Nelson, and
Willie.
And the other one was as good as good as I once
Oh.
was. That was
I watched that
6
music
weeks.
video earlier, and it was awesome. I forgot how great that music video was. I've been bumping a lot of Toby, which is today. We'll just put it that way.
Well, and this is a day that we need to honor that because it's a sad day, really, really
It
sad
is.
day.
It is. It
And,
is.
and in 2021, he received the National Medal of Arts Award from President Trump. Um, his number one hit, his first number one hit was "Should Have Been a Cowboy," and that was 1993. There's some interesting data that you might be kind of shocked at. He made 2.5% of Taylor Swift music sales because he owns stake in Big Machine Records, which is the label Taylor Swift was signed to when she released her first
Good.
6 albums.
You know the best news about that is that means his families are still getting paid off of Taylor Swift, and they should, and that's good news.
Well, they're going to get paid for all his songs that they keep rolling.
Well, you know what I mean. But Taylor's
Right.
biggest music, if
Right.
that's still
the
in
only good
effect,
thing
yeah,
it's the only good thing I've heard
And
about
that'll
Taylor
tie
Swift, to be
this-
honest with you.
yeah,
We're finding
yeah.
something positive to say about that. So there it is. He was known as Toby Keith was known as the cowboy capitalist, called country's $500 million man.
Yeah.
He's survived by his wife, Teresa Lucas, and 2 daughters, Shelly and Crystal, and 1 son, Stalin. And it's a sad day where he's going to be missed. He's really talented.
Bo, and we talked about this before we even came on. And the funny part is we both didn't even say what we were going to talk about, but we just knew. You know.
Great minds think alike.
Well, that's a true statement, but it was more just the reality of the situation. Like we talk a lot of sports, and this is the cool thing about this whole stream, this whole podcast, this whole whatever you want to call it. But in the end, we stick to sports. But when something like this comes up, it's worthy, it's important, and God bless him. And
his family,
God bless his family, of course. But I'll put it this way: 62 years old. That should never happen. That should never happen.
Very, very, very young, in my opinion.
Yeah, and So let's get on the lighter note of things. But that was 15 minutes of worthy conversation and I'll end it like I said, and I started with this. I'll end it with this. From being a military guy and what he did for all the military folks and what he did for 20 years easy, from a pivotal figure throughout USO, throughout the Afghan-Iraq war, and moving on. Gosh,
and
man,
his patriotic songs that back.
I mean, they're the most patriotic country songs, Bo.
Mm-hmm.
They are. American Soldier, Red, White, and Blue. I mean, I don't. They
don't get any better than that song, really.
It doesn't get. I don't want to get caught up in this because I don't want to bring people down. I feel like I'm somewhat wasted.
No, I think you're taking the wrong. Look at this. We're honoring him.
Yeah.
So honor is not a sad thing.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this. And I remember sitting in boot camp. I remember in 2008, and I was going to church. I was doing church on basic military training. This is one of my biggest things. And I remember, man, it still brings a tear to my eye, honestly. This is something I'll get super sentimental with, and that's why I'm like, didn't want to get it. Long story short, I remember in 2008, early 2009, basic military training for Air Force. And we used to go to church every Sunday. And we used to do a sing-along, essentially. And I remember doing American Soldier. Boy, if you didn't think as an 18, 19-year-old that brought some tears in my eye, you're crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was the first time being from Virginia and then going all the way to Texas, San Antonio, Texas. It was kind of, reality check. You're joining the military. It's your first month, two in, and you're in the middle of you're about to get in the thick of things, and I don't know, man. But I just remember that's what always sticks out to me. It was when American Soldier came on in the middle. We do a sing along every about 20 minutes of that church, about an hour and a half of church, and about 15, 20 minutes of it was music. You know how it
Right.
goes. And
All right. Sure.
one of the main songs was American
That
Soldier by
song.
yeah, and that always hits me hard. So I'll never forget it, brother. I mean,
Well, he
Bo,
was
that I'll never forget that moment. I'll never
you won't
forget looking
forget that.
at. So, like, it's one thing, to lose a country music artist, a true American patriot, but like that shit hit
Well,
next level. You know what I mean?
right. I know, and then that's in it, and it hit a lot of people that way. I just, he was from Oklahoma, but he
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in the Dallas Fort Worth area back in the '90s, late '80s, early '90s, because there's a lot of nightclubs here. Then he played a lot of nightclubs that I played in. I never met him, but I know that he was
I never
there
heard a
a
bad
couple
thing
of
about
clubs.
him. I could tell you that.
No, no. And his mom used to come see the band I was in back in the day when we played at the particular nightclub. Got to know her, meet her. So I mean, there's a lot of connections around the Dallas Fort Worth area because of his association around here. And but he was a giving guy. I mean, he helped Clinton Moody a lot by having him open. Now, Clinton deserved that because he's a very talented young man. But to have that kind of opportunities, be able to do that in front of thousands of people, it really was an awesome thing for him to do. And he's got so many songs. I mean, so many songs, so
So
many
many.
great songs.
I put
And
the I
what?
put the greatest hits on earlier. That's all I played today.
Okay,
It's all
well,
played
there you
today.
go.
Yeah, that's
There you
all
go.
played.
Well, let's
Let's get
let's just
into it. Let's transition.
remember his
And
family in
what's
prayer, and we'll move on, and then he'll be remembered for a very, very long time. So,
trust
uh,
me, he will never be forgotten in my life. I can tell you that right now. It goes back
and
to
so
military training, and I know that's some people are like, "Geez, Louise, Matt, it's just how you get caught." I'll put it this way: you know how you hear celebrity deaths, and you take in them differently. I guess you could say it was like just some people. And I get it these days. I get it these days. So you might not know these people, but it does affect yourself. It does affect your life a little bit. You're
well,
like, you
sure
know
it
what?
does.
That guy was. I'd never met him in my life, but man, that seemed like a
Well,
genuine dude.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
then I
most
watched.
definitely.
I watched. I watched. Gosh, I don't. I'm actually getting caught up in it. And I watched the video of him doing the inauguration for Trump, and he did his music. He did his song for that, where I think it was American Soldier in that one too. But before that, he said, "You know what? God bless Barack Obama for your service, and God bless 45 for your cup." This wasn't about politics for him either. In the end,
Well,
this
he
guy
loved his
just
country,
he just loved his country exactly, and
right?
and that's
And
what I think. I think that's why it really hits hard for me because I think we're gonna miss people like him. You know what I mean?
well, number one is he recognized that this country gave him the opportunity to really do what he wanted to do instead of bashing it and
It's
claiming
bigger
that
than
they
politics.
suppressed him and all those kind of things. A lot of these entertainers and sports people do. They talk about being
Bo,
suppressed when they're making millions of dollars, and he
yeah,
wasn't that way.
he
He
was
was pro.
humble. He understood it.
He was humble and appreciative
Bo,
of
but
what
even
America allowed him to do.
even though what probably politics he lean, but it didn't even. It wasn't about politics. It's just about making this country great, and that's what we
Right.
all should be about.
That exactly. And we sure need to get back to that.
And
So,
hey,
God
so
bless.
let's talk Super Bowl. Let's talk
So
Super Bowl.
yesterday, or last week, I should say, that we talked about what the Pro Bowl was going to be, this past Sunday, and you said you probably wouldn't watch it, and I said, well, I'm thinking about we could kind of dance back and forth. Well, I ended up watching the whole dadgum thing, and you know
Yeah.
what? I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was a lot of fun. you got to see the guys' personalities come out because you can't see that usually with their helmets on and all that. And, you look at guys like Jalen Hurts, who, of course, he's from Texas. So, I really like Jalen Hurts because of that. Plus, he's talented, but I hate the fact that he's on the Eagles. But he showed what a great personality he's got. During that game, showed how C.J. Stroud was that young man's going to be a dynamite quarterback, barring any injuries. And Baker Mayfield got an MVP. And he was dynamic. And what a personality he had. And it was a lot of fun what they were doing. And each quarter they would have a different event, tug of war and move the chains and all these different things. And those counted for points for the total points of the final game. And I think the final game was 62-59, wasn't it? Something like that.
It was like,
yeah, it was 64-59, and the AFC won it. And, no, I'm sorry, the NFC won it.
The NFC won it. They got an early lead on. What's kind of crazy is, and I'm trying to contain myself because the Gamecocks are playing basketball right now.
Oh boy!
And Gamecocks are 15th in the nation right now. By the way,
go. Awesome.
And
what's their record?
They're 19-3.
Fantastic.
And they're up 16 points right now. This is
playing?
Ole Miss.
Good.
Ole Miss is 18-4. 18-4. This ain't this is putting it on a decent team.
There you go. 16 points. That's good.
Yeah, but long story short, what's crazy is I think the NFL's got it right for one of the first times in their life.
In a long time, right?
I mean, the Pro Bowl, they've known it for a couple of years, but they've really evolved it to another situation where they really got it figured out. Where it's not about these guys weren't going to put on the pads and smash each other anymore because all the Pro Bowlers was the highest paid players in the NFL. Why would you expect them to do that? I understand it completely. I understand. And I was one of the people who was like, they're not going to play the game. Well, what are we doing? But the fact that they evolved and I enjoyed dodgeball. It was awesome. I enjoyed the,
right.
It was fun. I enjoyed
move the chains. Did you see how heavy? Yeah, all that.
No, great. I enjoyed them catching the punts where they had the multiple balls. I mean, that was great. I actually enjoyed the long snappers and the centers trying to pick the spots on the board.
Exactly.
It's actually a really cool thing they're doing in the tug of war. Cool. Good on them. And honestly, I'm probably in the minority, but I think the flag football is great. But honestly, I don't think they need I don't think they need the game anymore. I think they should just do all these skills competitions.
Well, now that I disagree with you because I enjoyed, and you know what?
No, the flag football is great, but I'm saying if you're worried about the reason I'm saying that is the flag football, there's a lot of quick movement still, and if you're worried about these guys getting hurt, eliminate it. Sure. Eliminate.
You don't think they could get hurt pulling thousands of pounds of stuff and get a hernia or?
I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's
come on, man. That all the things they did, like
with the obstacle course, essentially,
Nukia, when he won the passing precision catch, when he's catching a football on water skis, stuff like that. I mean, that's actually more dangerous than out there playing a football game in a flag.
Maybe so.
I mean, there's a lot of things they did.
It depends. There's flag. How we've talked
what
about
pulling the tug of war?
I know. Well, that's what it comes to. So I'm asking you. I'm saying we've talked about those fields. I mean, let's be real, there's sharp cuts on flag football. If you're on those artificial turfs, I've played on artificial turf on a flag football in soccer thing. It's still questionable. I mean, you're still taking those high movement,
all I can say is those boys put out. They weren't
No,
worried
they
about
did. They
that.
did.
They cut. They did some great
Well,
catches. I
you
couldn't
know what you
believe
got to
all
do?
the things they were doing.
You know what they got to
Lamar,
do? Here's the
what?
thing. Here's the thing too. The NFL and Roger Goodell and them need to stop being assholes and stop being so. Let's be real. You got plenty of money. Start giving these guys extra incentives. You make it to the Pro Bowl. Honestly, I think maybe people will call me crazy because they're overpaid, but I honestly think if you participate in those drills, as long as you're going all out, give them an extra $1 million. Give them an extra $1 million. Who gives a damn?
Well, they got plenty of money, but the one thing
But
that
they
I
deserve
saw,
more if you're a Pro Bowler.
well, the one thing that I really enjoyed is how much fun they were having, and
Yes.
also the fact that they didn't play all whole game. A lot of them just played like a quarter, and then they rotate. Now there's some that played more than that, different positions, but they weren't out there the whole game like you would in a regular football game. And also, it was only 50 yards. It wasn't 100 yards where they
Yeah.
weren't having to run that much down the field or any of that kind of stuff. And there was no real blocking. I mean, or anything like that, or
It's
any
flag
hitting.
football. It's the way it should be.
So it was fun for me to watch, and I watched the entire game. I watched all the events that they had, on the TV yesterday. I know they had some events that happened Thursday or over the latter part of the week, but it was fantastic. And I got to say, I've never watched a Pro Bowl game ever until yesterday. That was the first time. And another thing, one more thing too, what I'm thinking about is that they played in Orlando instead of going to Hawaii. Now, nothing against Hawaii.
Well,
nothing against
I mean,
Hawaii.
if I was a player, I'd be pissed. If I was a player, I'd be pissed. I mean,
I will
say this. This is my argument. One of the few incentives are going to here, which you might have not known, is if you made the Pro Bowl while they were in Hawaii, they took your whole family with them and they paid for it. So, in my opinion, they should still put them in Hawaii. I think they should still be in Hawaii.
Well, they might consider that, but maybe it's the fact that it's.
Hey, let's be real. The NFL ain't struggling for money.
They're not struggling. I don't believe it was about the money. I believe it was just about.
I think it is.
Being more inside. What do you call it when you're not in Hawaii?
Actually, I take that back. You're right. You're right. The interesting no, I know what you're trying to say. The reality is nobody could travel. Fans couldn't travel.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Orlando has been all right. I do agree on that aspect. So we'll put it
because
this way.
you've even talked about before.
The NFL, yeah, you're right. You're right. The NFL was catering to the NFL players. Because you made it to the Pro Bowl, we're going to send you to Hawaii and we're going to give you a night check. But what they were struggling with, because it wasn't paying off in revenue and TV sales or whatever it is, because nobody wasn't watching that shit. But the reality is like, hey, we change it up. We get a little bit more ratings, but more importantly, we put them in Orlando, and we're going to get, no matter what, and I do agree with this, no matter what, even what they're doing, people are going to come to Orlando and watch their favorite stars be a part of All-Star, Pro Bowl weekend, and you go get your jersey signed, whatever. So I do. You're right. You're right. I take that back.
As much as fans going to Orlando is a whole lot cheaper than.
That is that's thousands of dollars. $1,000.
Yeah.
You're right.
You made this comment before about when we were talking about bowl games that were insignificant college bowl games, that if they put them in locations to where it was good for the fans to get to, it would change the outcome.
It's regional. Regional.
Exactly. Being in Orlando instead of over there in Hawaii,
you're right.
It for a better deal to where a lot more people could be involved and the stands were full.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit it on the head. I actually,
you don't agree with me very often, but you changed your mind.
No, I do agree with you on many things. The only thing I disagree with you on is the other aspect of the bowl games. But
we're gonna work about that.
But you're right. I honestly threw off from my own morals, essentially, I guess, my own philosophy, where you're right. If you gotta start as much as it is beneficial for whatever your sponsors or whatever it might be, you got to think about the fans, because in the end, the fans are what sells the money and what puts the people in the seats. And you'd rather have a full stadium of fans, because the ticket prices are way more important than, in most cases, especially bowl games, TV revenue, in my opinion.
Interaction too. I mean, they get to go to these events, these different events.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
all these different events, and they get to see the game and all these different things. That is a whole lot easier access to stay for several days,
so
and then watch the game.
what was your favorite event? What was your favorite event out of all of it?
Well, I guess one of the funniest event to me, or got kind of comical, was the what do they call it, the gauntlet, or where they took off and they had to break these walls, and then they had to go pull these walls up and go underneath them.
You know what that was? You know what that was? That was
military action.
No, you know what that was? That was a total. You know where they took that? They totally took that from American Gladiators. They took that from American Gladiators, 100%. That was You watch American Gladiators back in the day?
I did a little bit. Can't remember that particular type of event. But
no, hey, you ever watch the 30 for 30 on that? This is a side note. You ever watch the 30? I told you to watch it.
Oh, what about the American Gladiators?
Yes.
Or 30-30? I haven't seen it, so I'll need to watch it.
You don't have ESPN Plus, do you?
No.
I've been meaning. I'm gonna give you my login tonight. You need to watch the 30 for 30 on the American Gladiators. It's a 2-part series. It's amazing.
Okay.
And it goes back all how it started, where it was a bunch of iron workers. They stole the origins of American Gladiators is crazy, where these iron workers started and they were beating the hell out of each other. And this dude stole it from them and went Vegas and went LA. It's an incredible story, but long story short, and I've said that once or twice in this show, but American Gladiators, they do the whole lift up, they run through the walls. And I hate to be that way, but I guess it doesn't matter these days because they're not around anymore. But they stole that from American Gladiators.
Well, good for them. But I enjoyed it.
That stuff was awesome. It was awesome to watch.
When they would do the last line of that, when they were pushing the guy on the little trolley thing or whatever they called it.
Yeah, and Jason Kelsey's swinging.
Yeah, and he was
right. He's right.
Well, you could see the difference when he did that, and that was comical. And
Miles Garrett's just sitting there just filming, and his big ass is like 300 pounds. Like, you ain't helping nobody.
He wasn't helping nobody. So yeah, that was funny. But they were all really interesting. I mean, the tug of war wasn't even close. The NFC just wiped them out.
I enjoyed the dodgeball. The dodgeball's great.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb was kicking everybody's ass in the dodgeball, by the way. I don't know. Day one, CeeDee Lamb, he mopped up like 3 or 4 people in one game. And I was like, oh, let's go. And Go ahead.
I was just going to say the whole event was phenomenal to me. I enjoyed
what else was really good? Was the kickoff. The kickoff between Justin Tucker and Brandon Aubrey, where they did tic-tac-toe. I don't know if you saw that. That was on Friday.
I did not see that part.
They did a tic-tac. They did a tic-tac-toe on the kicker board, where you literally put you had the whole you had the post and everything, like a normal ass field goal post, and they had a tic-tac. Yeah. And you had to kick the ball on and line up tic-tac-toe. That's special. That takes talent.
Better believe it.
I mean, they literally had to do their own tic-tac-toe by kicking the ball in the
square
thing. Yeah, through both 3x3 all the way through the whole. They had a 3x3 through the field goal post, where it's 3-3-3. And they were canceling each other out, and Justin Tucker ended up beating him by 1 kick. He only beat him by a kick. I mean, Brandon Aubrey put up a good fight, and he hit the top rows. He hit the top rows for 3 across. And that just tells you how good Justin Tucker was. But you should go back and watch that too. That was awesome. And I thought that was the most impressive out of all of it, that you got kickers doing tic-tac-toe from And I think they were,
that
and the
far
most
away,
impressive
right?
part, they were 40, 50 yards out doing tic-tac-toe. It wasn't like they
Listen,
were 30 yards out. You know what I mean?
or
They
even
were
5 yards would be hard enough to do.
no, I mean, like they were literally bombing it from about 40, 50 yards out to do, and literally had to on a board. And there was multiple times that they hit the middle piece, like the little bridge in between each, and they didn't count
Right?
it. They
Oh,
were
they
even
had to
not
actually.
counting it. They had to
Oh, wow.
actually hit the yeah. It was impressive, super impressive.
Well, that's what I
That
said.
was my favorite thing on Friday. Like I told you, I didn't watch much on Sunday, but Friday I was locked in, and they were doing the precision. You know what else I appreciated? They did the golf shot. Did you see the golfing?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see any of
You
the week during the week
you
stuff.
need. I'm gonna like I said. I'm gonna give you my ESPN login.
All right.
Friday I was locked in on Friday, and they did the closest to the pin. They did a
Oh yeah.
closest to the pin on a par three. On a par three at a course in Orlando, NFC versus AFC. Guess who was the two closest to the pin?
Baker
Both
Mayfield.
Cowboys. No, both
Oh
Cowboys.
yeah.
The AFC got smoked in both NFC. So Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson was 3.5 yards, I think it was, from the pin. He ended up winning it. Our tight end. And he beat, it was him and Brian Anger. It was Anger the punter. Both of them were, no, it was Jake Ferguson about 6 feet in, and I think Anger went 3 feet in. And they beat all the players on the whole course, and just happened to be two Cowboys.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
The
well, at least we know
AFC wasn't
the
even
Cowboys
close.
can do something besides play football,
I,
right?
I wish they played football rather than hitting a goddamn, well, rather than hitting a pin. Sorry, that was
Yeah,
a
I
bad
got
one.
you.
Rather than hitting a golf swing or close to the pin on a par three. And it was an island. It was an island. So it was over the water and everything.
Well, there you go. Well, it was fun. We had a good time. I had a good time with it, and Purple Haze watched it with me. It was really fun to watch. And
All right.
so let's a couple things before we get out of here. We got the Super Bowl this Sunday.
We need to talk Super Bowl. We had fun with it, but
I just have a gut feeling Kansas City's going to win it. I just think that the way the social aspects of that have been played out, I just think that it's in the cards, whether it's legal or illegal.
And you know what drove me crazy? Man, I'm trying not to get caught up. There's just so much to talk about. But I was getting super. That Roger Goodell had a press conference. I don't know if you saw that. He had a big press conference during the week, and he addressed a lot of situations. One of them was like, well, if you think they're scripted, it's or not scripted. Of course, they're not scripted, but I think if you didn't think the NFL's happy about Taylor Swift and them, and he mentioned, he's like, yeah, it's great for the game. Taylor Swift being involved is great for the game. I was like, well, of course you think that. I hope the 49ers win. I just want the NFC to win just because it makes me feel better about the Cowboys.
Right, I got you.
You know what got me annoyed is I'm not a big – I try to pick and choose my battles with concussions, but, I don't know if you heard the report recently. There was a big report that came out talking about how Roger Goodell and the NFL tried to it's kind of funny that people are trying to imagine that block media, true media reports about concussions and the doctors coming out. In the NFL, there's a big report about how the NFL spent millions of dollars trying to block the reports of concussions and all these things. And I don't know if you heard about. Yeah, and then a reporter asked him about that, and Roger Goodell said, "Well, we're making sure that we didn't want any false information coming out." Gosh, Bo, how much misinformation, false information have we heard over the past couple of years? Where that's the go-to word these days, aka the NFL and Roger Goodell was trying to censor, that's the real word, of real information about. And I'm not the advocate for concussions because I will I will give a little bit of slack to the players where, hey guys, you're playing football, you're taking big time shots. You guys know you're getting a little bit of damage done. Let's be real. I mean, that's
Well, it's
that's
kind
the
of, to me, it's you just have to kind of consider it's part of
well,
the
hey,
game.
and
I
that's
mean,
well,
if
more
you're out there
importantly,
cutting trees down and you're using a chainsaw, I mean, there's some risk
Bo,
there. How
Bo,
about
that's why
race
you
car
get paid.
driving?
That's why you get
Yeah,
paid millions
all
of
that.
dollars. That's why you get paid
Correct.
millions of dollars. It's not
Exactly.
like, hey, we're not, we're acknowledging from a fan standpoint, we understand the dangers of the game, but from a player and reality standpoint, that's why you get paid millions of dollars because we understand the effects and the reality of the game. And then you got Roger Goodell and them coming out and saying, well, we're trying to make sure. No, Roger, we've known any normal person for the past 50 years knows that this is a dangerous sport. And that's why
Correct.
you get paid good money to play the sport. In the end, people like me, people like you, if I was a good enough athlete to play in the NFL, I would be happily, and that's what most of them feel like. You'd be paid happily to get paid. But I thought it was funny that the commissioner of the NFL is still full of shit, and he would come out and be like, "Hey, um, well, we're trying to just make sure we got the best doctors in the world. We're just trying to make sure we're not curving it." Hey, Roger, no, you're trying to disguise the reality of the situation for some odd reason because you're trying to save medical benefits on the back end, even though you got plenty of money. I think if I was a Philadelphia Eagle fan, I'd be mad as hell if I had to go. If I'm a Philly fan and then they're got a game in Brazil, this goes off of all these things that happened in the past couple of days. Listen, we got the Super Bowl, but what the big thing that came out of the Super Bowl was this press conference with Roger Goodell was like, hey, we're going and putting Philly, we're doing a game in Brazil. Listen, and this is what I really wanted to hit on. I'm all for the international games, but we're getting way out of context. We're getting way out. We're getting crazy with these international games. We
Totally
should,
agree.
and I hate the freaking Philadelphia Eagles, but they should be going to Brazil.
I
Why
agree.
they're about to waste a home game to go to Brazil for no reason. Listen, I'll give you Europe, but going to Sao Paulo, and I'm sure Sao Paulo is beautiful. I've heard great things. But man, oh man, this makes no sense. You're getting away from American football to expand a league that already gives you billions of dollars just
and
to
has
make a
the
look.
and has the number one team in the world in your organization,
It's
and
crazy, man.
the most valuable team in your own organization. Why would you worry about that? But you know, Kurt made a comment here not too long ago. When have you ever seen anybody, or maybe you made it, that's happy with enough money they got?
Oh,
They
like
just
we
want
talked about
more
it
and
last
more and
week.
more.
We
Yeah,
talked about
it's
it
more
last
and
week.
more
It
and
was
more.
greed on, how it goes. It's greed. We had that conversation. I said, when is greed never, it never
Good
slows
enough,
people down, man. It's
right?
never good enough. It's what
Well, we
unfortunately all these people think of. But and that's where the NFL's at these days. It's
So what is
greed,
your
man.
pick? What is your pick?
The Niners. I'm taking the Niners. I think they're too much.
Are you besides wanting them to win, you think they will win?
I want them to win. I think they're
I
the
don't think
better
they've played
team.
very good the last couple of
No,
games.
I
I
think they're the
mean,
better team.
well,
I think
maybe
they're
so.
the better team.
Okay, we'll find out. I hope they win too. I definitely really, really want
But
them to win.
I did say that I should be ashamed from that um I should be ashamed of myself to discount Patrick Mahomes and doubt him because I keep going against him. But uh, yeah, I'm gonna take the Niners. I'm gonna take Brock Purdy and the Niners.
Well, okay. Well, I hope that too. I'm wishing for that. And you see what I have on before we leave tonight?
Rangers baseball.
And the reason I got this on?
Well, I don't know if it's about Adrian Beltre, but we did that last week. I put is it about Adrian Beltre?
No, spring training starts next week.
Oh,
We're
nobody
back
cares.
into
Nobody
yeah.
cares.
That means baseball's getting sniffing close.
I don't give
We
a
got
damn. It's
Monday.
college
Is I know
college
you don't
basketball.
care about baseball anyway, but
You know what I watched last night? I watched Kansas State versus Kansas last night. Kansas State versus Kansas last night, and Kansas State knocked them off. Did a great
wow.
job. I mean, it was awesome to watch. It went to overtime. It was an awesome game. I'm locked in on college basketball, and I think it's the best sport maybe in. I just love college sports. I think college football and college basketball is as good as it gets. I'm watching my Gamecocks blow a lead away, and they're up by 3 with 7 minutes to go after blowing
Look,
about a 19-point lead.
well, let
So,
me let you go get into that.
son of a
We
bitch.
get after so you can get them stirred back up
But
and on the
hey,
right
long story
track.
short, man, this is good stuff. I mean, we're getting towards March Madness, and that's what it's all about.
Right, and I know we'll be talking a
Mavericks,
lot about that.
Kyrie Irving's back. I don't care much. I'm just excited for college basketball, college baseball. You want to talk baseball? Let's talk about college baseball. College baseball is right around the corner. TCU is
Yes,
going to be back playing. They're a top
yes, sir.
15 team. They're a top
Yeah, they
15
are.
team after College World Series berth. So I mean, hey
Well,
man, Bo, we got plenty to talk about college sports, and we got
we
plenty to talk
will.
about
We'll get into that
Rangers.
next week.
But
We'll cover a little bit of
the
the
top
Super
15,
Bowl this next
the
Monday,
ranking.
Tuesday.
Hey, by the way, the rankings for college baseball officially just came out today. The TCU, the Horned Frogs are in the top 15, and my
Good
Gamecocks are
deal.
in the top 25. So we'll talk, and it's not even about just our teams. It's about Texas is up there in the top 15, top 20. There's plenty to talk about in the world of sports in general, and the NBA is getting at least interesting. Kyrie just made his return last night, and they won a game. It's just we got plenty to talk about here in February and March.
Yes, we do. And thank you, my brother, for being a part of the broadcast. And we're
And then
letting
I'll
everybody.
say this, and I'll say this, and I know maybe people weren't happy with hope you guys weren't mad at us for taking up 20, 25 minutes of the show talking about non-sports related stuff, but I think me and Bo we're gonna do that either way because it was important topic. It was
No doubt.
that was American Patriot, just
Yes.
in all aspects of the world. God bless Toby Keith and his family, and I'll end it with that. Hope you all didn't get distracted by that. We talk plenty of sports, but the cool thing is a podcast. This is a whole different show in general. We have fun with it. We didn't mean to bring anybody down, but that means a lot to me. That means a lot to Bo, and I hope
Definitely.
that means a lot to you all and understand how it was a sad day, but either way, we have a good time coming on here.
Yes, we do. Until next Tuesday, now we'll keep reminding everybody that we're on Tuesdays at 6 Central Time. We were on Mondays, but we moved to Tuesdays. It might
Yeah,
take a minute or two
this is why I'm officially referee of
there it is.
officially
Well, I think
South.
Tuesdays are going to be better anyway, myself.
But I'm saying officially a South Carolina soccer referee. I got my first
Oh,
game
boy.
tomorrow night.
Good
First game
luck.
tomorrow night. I'm doing my middle school games. I got middle school tomorrow. I got my
Oh,
high school games here
fantastic.
coming up, but middle school
All
tomorrow.
right.
And
Good
that's
luck.
the reason we changed. Matt's got a bunch of refereeing jobs to do, and I did. My granddad was a referee in high school sports, high school football for 50 years. One of the few guys to
Wow.
do that in the state of Virginia.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 50 years in the state of Virginia. I did multiple years in the state in high school football refereeing in the state of in Virginia and New Mexico when I was stationed there. So, but I switched over to soccer. So we're there and excited for the start of
Excited
that.
for you
So
too. Well,
thank you.
don't be one of those people where they go, "What's that referee doing out there?"
No. One of the core values, one of the few core. There's 3 core values that we'll leave with this, Bo. 3 core values of the Air Force. You know what they are? They are
uh,
integrity. The most important, in my opinion, integrity
integrity.
first. Integrity first. Excellence in all we do and service before self. Those are the 3 core values of the Air Force. And
It's going to work great with your job.
And I think more importantly, we all should live by that: integrity first,
No doubt.
excellence in all we do, and service before self. God bless you. God bless America.
Yes, and I will.
And
We'll end with that. And so
yeah.
until next Tuesday at 6 Central, y'all have a great week. Enjoy whatever you like in the sports category, and be safe out there, Matt. And I'll be talking to you this week. Okay.
Love you,
Y'all
brother. I'll
y'all
talk to
have
you
a great
soon.
week. Bye bye.